And we're live. Rock and roll. Let's see. November 20th, 2024. There's lots going on in the DePIN world. We'll see if Joey shows up here. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see. Top of the hops here. So Onocoy introducing a hardware partner, Ardusimple. That's pretty cool. What's up, Siegfried? Good to see them. I've been running and you can see it right there, which is the SparkFun Mosaic X5. That's been working really well for me. But you can use any hardware, so that's kind of the cool thing about Onocoy is you're not restricted to just the hardware that one company sells. Let's see. They're announced 2x rewards from December 1st through January 31st. So that was pretty cool to see as well. I got Joey coming in here. Let's see if we can... What's up, Travis? Holla. And then let me bring Joey in here. Stand by. Cool. There you go. What's up, Joey? I got no mic on you. I'm not sure why. Maybe I broke something on my end. No? Might be yours. Okay. Let's see. So that was the Onocoy stuff. What else have I got? Oh, I got my new antennas in. The VeraPhase is up and running. We'll see how well it does with the wind load on it. It's definitely a little bit more of a wind load than the old one, but I've got it a little bit more stable, so we'll see how that goes. Anyone is running their relay reward airdrops. Those are coming in. I just started getting mine. I just started paying attention to it today. So that's cool to coming in. I think I've seen in just a day, I got like one, anyone might have been two. And those are, I don't know, like $1.04. So $1 a day, $30 a month. Maybe it's a little bit more, a little bit less. I just started it, so maybe it's actually more. I think the last time I checked, it was like $200 a month. So that was pretty cool. Let's see. In Helium world, we've got a lot going on. I just pinged a buy last minute to see if he wanted to jump in, but he's got some SGO, some shit going on, so he's not going to make it. So it's up to us, Joey, to solve all the problems of the Helium world, including HIP 138, with 2 days left to vote.
In the
What's going on, Gregor? Oh, there you are. Now I can hear you, Joey. Okay, and then I saw that contracts are now verified on Solana. I think it's like always a good, step in the right direction, but it's one of those things where I just kind of expect not to be scammed. And so this thing where it's like, oh, now it's a lot harder to get scammed. It's like, motherfucker, I never get scammed on Amazon. The Web3 world has got to catch up to this. Although I do understand the flip side of your wallet, your words, your responsibility. Let's see. Hivemapper stuff. They have got new bursts out in California. I think probably Arizona as well. MIP 18. So what is that? Mobility improvement proposal start probably. Puts out 750,000 honey for a liquidity vault just to make honey a little bit easier. What's up, Derek? What's up, Frederick? So just good to see those guys building and seeing that liquidity is a problem and they're going to solve it. DIMO's got big news. They've got a new brand. DIMO 2.0 is announced, and they've now got an easier app experience. They've been saying that they're going to have a shitload of partners coming in. I think that is the technical word for it. And since we're past the first minute, YouTube probably won't, whatever it is, silence me or whatever the latest thing is, cancel me. DIMO also has a new device out, the LTE R1. It's shipping now, and I think that you've already been beaten to this if you're listening, but they've got, I think Alex put a reward out, 10,000 DIMO for anyone who got it, for the first person to get the DIMO logo tattooed on them. Which I guess I could have crushed because we have a tattoo shop next door. I could have just walked over and earned a quick 10 grand.
Somebody already got it.
Yeah. Oh, did they? Did Sal get it? Or I saw a couple people were in the running for it.
No, there's a guy on Twitter. He did a little D on his ankle.
Man, I would have gotten like a big one on my chest, but suit yourself. You want to play small. That's cool. Let's see. Wingbits. I think this is their new logo. Good job, Kevin, by the way. They have announced, actually, this is a pretty big deal, is they've announced the Geosigner address collection. So if you were in under the wire, which I think the wire closed like September or something when they said they're going to stop taking new stuff, you can now go to your Wingbits dashboard, which I think is like app.wingbits.com, but they've got the link in their Discord, and go add your address in so that you can get your Geosigner and continue to earn rewards. I'm not sure how that's actually going to work. I'm guessing that once all the Geosigners are out and everybody had their chance to get them, they'll have some cutoff date and you'll stop earning if you haven't plugged your Geosigner in by then. So kind of a cool thing. I was up on the roof where I've got one of my Wingbits. In fact, I was up on both roofs where I've got both Wingbits installed, and they're easy to get to and Easy to get done. If you want to hit that address, it is down in the description. In Spexi land, their big news is they're moving to public beta, so the app is available in the Google Play Store. You need to update your user profile. So if you're a Spexiite, make sure you get in there and update your profile. Let's see. Srcful has said that validation data is available in Explorer. They're opening up a tokenomics channel. Hopefully it doesn't melt like the Helium tokenomics channel could routinely melts as people insist on whatever it is that they're insisting on. But it's good to see those guys building in WeatherXM land. What's going on there? They just got an Arbitrum blog posted on them. So just cool to see the kind of general words seeping out into the non-DePIN atmosphere of what's going on in DePIN. And WeatherXM also has Black Friday deals, 15 to 25% off. I probably should have just waited and bought my WeatherXM station now instead of 4 weeks ago, but whatevs. I just put the thing up yesterday because I'd been planning on putting it on one of my mountain installs, but I injured my heel so badly I haven't been able to walk more than like 2 blocks in a month and a half now. And so hiking is out for me, at least for now. Let's see. I think the other thing I've got, and I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this right after this. In fact, you could watch it now if you wanted to. We're doing a DePIN state release of my interview with Marcus Levin, the co-founder over at XYO. They are the original DePIN is their current tagline. But what I thought was pretty fucking cool is they're doing 10 million, I think 10.5 million in revenue last year. They're an IoT project. And so for me, it's proof that you can make a ton of money with IoT. You just have to figure out how you're going to do it. And so that was kind of cool. I know that there's a bunch of like stuff melting down in the Helium world with IoT and mobile and the rest of it. And it's like, IoT is dead. Like pretty clearly not dead. It's just how you structure the whole thing. And the link to that show is down in the description. It's unlisted now. I'll publish it. Actually, I think it goes out 10:15, so about an hour and 15 minutes. It'll officially be out for the rest of you. But for those of you who are watching the DePIN state, that's what's going on. And then the last piece that I've got, damn, Joey, we're going to get this thing done under 10 minutes, is the Harmony Analytica. And I don't have a thing for them, so I'll have to go to DePIN piece. But this is their, I probably shouldn't show the QR code. This is their new, focus, you motherfucker, soil moisture sensor, which is kind of cool. They just sent it out to me, and I'm going to try it out. But it's you can get it on Helium or TTN. I, of course, chose Helium. And I've just got to sort out some stuff with my emails. I don't know. I'm not getting their emails because I already had an account. It's something to do with user error on my side, but super cool looking soil moisture sensor. And then make sure that if you're looking for help with DePIN deployments, that you hit Flywheel Systems. Their link is in the description. And that is everything I've got for DePIN news. What's going on, Joey?
Love it. I'm excited about that soil moisture sensor. I see some familiar tones in the design language, I'll say.
Okay.
So I think I know what's going on there.
Badass. Yeah. Let's, I should put my thumb over the various, well, I mean, you can see the thing. It's just, it's pretty cool. It's got a little QR code on the back that my thumb is hopefully covering that you use to claim it. It's got a device ID and a claim key. I just haven't gone through it because, like I said, I screwed up the email thing somehow. And then it also shipped with these 2 carabiners, which are 3D printed. So like, don't trust your life to these because I could probably pull them apart with my hands, but they have a magnet on them. Can you see that little circle magnet thing? And that's how you activate the soil moisture sensor. So that's kind of cool.
Huh.
Like you wave the magnet over the soil moisture sensor and somehow.
Okay. So it's the, like you don't use the carabiner with, like they're not meant to be like clipped on.
No, I think Andy had just sent them out as like, hey, check these things out, and I probably need a magnet. But I'll double check and ask him what's going on. But I mean, they work. It's just they're fully plastic. So if I hung this from the ceiling and tried to hang from it, it would just. In fact, yeah, I can. I can pull it apart. Just
that was more than I was expecting.
With a half-ass pull. If I was an actual monster, I could pull it apart quickly. Let's see. Travis is saying Anchor's having a lot of Black Friday deals. Yeah, I've been lying in wait for all of these various Black Friday deals.
Yeah.
So let's see. Solar Jim in the house. Jim, what do you know about solar for small devices, if anything? Are you on the Super Cap Summer train and these tiny little solar panels? Let me know. I'm just going back to back through my notes because I missed everything. Oh, Rob Putt is dropping F-bombs and talking about opening boxes. Is that the Irwin thing or the the miner, the digging a hole thing. I always forget. I get those things mixed up.
Oh, it's Schrodinger boxes. So
Yeah,
probably.
that's it.
Yeah.
And I think the token is EWN, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
A meme coin for a meme coin. We're deep in meme coin season. I'm ready for utility side again.
Oh, dude. So I got to meet up with Marcus at XYO. We had coffee Friday here in San Diego, and was just talking with them, and it was super cool to see. I mean, they had a very similar timeline to Helium. I think they're about a year earlier, 2012 versus 2013 when they started. So I know Amir over at now Nova has been exploring the IoT thing for a long time. And I've seen, and I've actually kind of believed this bullshit that IoT is dead for other than geeks. But after talking to Marcus, it's like, no, it's just that we haven't figured out how to do a great job selling it. But if they're doing 10.5 million in revenue last year, and I think they're on track to do more this year, and they're signing some new partnerships, I think they're super psyched on. Like, we're just doing the marketing or the selling wrong. It's not a problem with the actual technology.
Yeah, or we're just not charging enough. So we're definitely moving messages. But
yeah. I haven't paid attention much to the not charging enough piece. So
yeah,
I always wanted to keep.
Yeah, we're at what 6 million messages a day, more or less, right now.
That seems like a lot.
Unique messages. Yeah, I've got email. Actually, I get to go activate like another Type 0 net ID. I'm going to do some more roaming. There's only so many of those out there. Bunch of new OUIs coming in. So like, it's a little. I'm pushing for our inbound. Like, I want to start getting a better pulse of why people are all of a sudden just like flooding in, because we've been doing a bunch of numbers on new OUIs.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if it's just like they've been building and now they're ready. If it was like we lowered the dev adder price and now it's a little more accessible. Like, it's a little foggy in terms of what's going on there. And I think it's an important thing to understand, especially like we're having these discussions around data credit pricing. It's like, should the network cost more to use? Or can we actually drive that kind of traffic that we want to see to get to those points? So it's a hot topic.
Well, let's solve this HIP 138 thing really quickly here, since apparently it's a very simple problem and with a very clear answer.
Yeah.
Is walk me through what, if anything, is going on there. I mean, it looks, yeah.
I mean, probably, I feel like people are going to get mad at me for even trying to explain this, but it's been a hot topic.
Do you want me to try and they can get mad at me, and then you can tell me where I'm wrong?
Yeah. So like HIP 138 at its just top level goal, right, is to recognize that the ecosystem has become too confusing on a like token basis with, people come up still to this day, come up to me like, what do I do with this IoT token? Why am I not earning HNT anymore? What's going on? You've heard that, I've heard that. If I had a nickel for every time that somebody brought that up to me at a conference or whatever.
You'd have a lot of nickels.
Yeah, at least a BART pass or something, right? So like the main goal in that is to tackle it and say, let's just make sure everyone is getting rewarded in HNT. There's one token that sort of backs the entire like wireless networks. Where it has gotten contentious is we've had IoT and mobile for a while. We have subnetworks. There's subnetwork treasuries. There's protocol scores, all this other stuff. And it's a difficult thing to wrap your head around in terms of like all of these layers of economics and human behavior that lays into that. So it's become a contentious topic, I guess, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'll probably maybe leave it at that, in the sense that people should try and go read up on it a bit.
Wait, you want them to read it? Come on, Joey.
Yeah.
People
I mean, most people, I think, are happy to read like a contentious looking message and then get angry about that and not go any further.
Dude, I saw this, speaking of reading versus listening to something. One of my buddies who, doesn't matter his background, he sent me this thing, and it was an audio file. And so I open it up, and it's an audio file as if two people had done a podcast all about me. It's like, oh, Nick Hawks is this, X, Y, and Z.
Hmm.
And pretty quickly I was like, oh, this is AI generated, because it was just too, I don't know, AI-y.
Yep.
But he'd fed it my LinkedIn profile and then something else. I forget what he told me. And they came up with this like 15-minute podcast on the life of Nick Hawks.
Yeah.
And so it's Notebook LM. I should probably drop the link. I'll go find it. But it was this thing where you can drop in a bunch of documents. And this is kind of the half dream that I've been having. And I think it's just going to happen super fast. And up until now in the kind of AI LLM world, it was super hard to drop in even one document and say, like, give me an answer based on this, because it basically had to kind of retrain itself on the entire language model plus the specifics of that document. It just never worked that well.
Yeah.
But it looks like what's happening is that is starting to work, and you can start to feed in a ton of documents. I think on their free version, you can feed in 50 different documents, and then it will create a podcast for you. You can interact with it and ask it questions. Super, super cool to see that, stuff coming down the pipe. So I think what will happen in the marketing world pretty soon, and hopefully Helium picks this up pretty quickly, is you'll chunk in all of the, the white paper, every single hip, and then something else, and then say like, hey, here's hip 138. Explain this in 5 minutes with the relevant context to all other hips. So, and of course, Rob Putt hates it immediately. Rob reminds me a lot of my partner Max. Like, this is stupid. That sucks.
It was pretty cool. Like Siegfried mentioned, like Frederick at Srcful did that.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty interesting way to sort of digest, and like you've got this pundit approach of giving both sides of a topic, and they kind of lay it out. So it was pretty neat. On that topic, though, I'll say Helium Geek published a really nice article that just sort of said here's kind of, it was effectively that in a blog form.
Okay.
So I definitely, for folks that are trying to read up on it, I think that's another good thing to go take a peek at. So, read the actual hip, understand what's going on there, and then, try and get those outside perspectives.
Yeah. And I think the interesting thing for me is on the, marketing side, which is where I spend a fair amount of time, and just messaging. How do you get your message across to people? Is that this whole LLM thing is going to make the messaging side of any DePIN project way easier. And what I expect to happen in the next, 6 months to a year, is you'll start to have customized, however you want it, messaging for you. So someone comes into Helium and says hey, I'm new. How do I make X, Y, and Z? Instead of being served a website that's here's the docs, and here's, you have to kind of assume they have some kind of technical level of expertise or not, or you're not sure. Is it just says oh, this is what you do. First you turn this thing on, then you go to this website, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty interesting for, just for communicators in general. And I know that I've been using LLMs a bunch for one of my fun little marketing projects, and it's pretty goddamn amazing how good they are.
Yeah, you can program in your brand voice. You can do a million iterations of things. It's yeah.
Yep. And I think the other piece is consuming other media and saying, okay, here's a podcast on this specific thing. Here's a podcast on DePIN. And maybe I should figure out how to do this for DePIN State, is take every one of the episodes we've done, put it all into one, I guess, LLM RAG, and then have some ability to chat with that thing and say oh, hey, what was the thing that one guy said, back in July about whatever their project was about flying planes, or et cetera, and just make it super easy to start to push through and get a bunch of information on DePIN quick.
There's a lot of info out there. It's getting to the point where an LLM is the only thing that can handle all of it. So
yeah. Although the Siegfried point, it's the shit is not 100% accurate, so it's still fairly untrustworthy.
Yeah. I mean, I had a chat with Sam from Cusco yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
I've been playing around with, should we start bringing LLM generated elements into Explorer? So you click on a hex and you dump all of the technical information into this LLM, and then you say, give me some give me a report card. How is that hotspot doing? Whatever. And so I welcome input from the community on this. I'm just this is my little PM evenings project, amongst like a dozen other evening projects.
Yeah.
Um,
God, I got so many of those.
but
My evenings are getting pretty long.
yeah, it's a lot. But like it's
Oh,
getting
cool.
that to be consistent is a challenge. So like, I might do the initial run on the thing, and then it's like, all right, as an LLM, fix all the typos that you put in this thing. Go run that again with the same content. Go run it again to put it in the format of like a proper JSON file, so I can go serve it. Like, so there's kind of a lot of like, poking, and maybe like the good prompt engineers can make that stuff happen right the first time.
Yeah.
But my first try just had like spelling errors in it. It was kind of surprising, but yeah,
Fuckers.
that's what you get with open models, I guess. I don't know. Um, but it's fun to sort of play around with and think about how we can start augmenting experiences with that kind of information.
Yeah. Joey, what's going on with IoT and Helium? I think one thing I see in the general, maybe not super curious public, is this idea that IoT, like with the switch to HIP 138, IoT is going to die. Nova's going to abandon it. It's not going to work. It's going to be gone.
Right.
I'm pretty
So
sure you're on the other side of that, but like walk me through what your perspective is, because you're the technical director still, like or has the title changed?
it doesn't product.
Super director now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so like
The work is the same.
yeah.
Yeah, so Amir decided to wreck my weekend by throwing out some message that's like, Nova's not going to work on IoT. And then I got a ton of inbound from that. So
Yeah.
blew up my inbox, CEOs to community members being like, what is this message about? And so I took it straight to him over the weekend. I was like, yo, if you're going to throw these things out there, don't wreck my weekend with it. Frankly. But
Nice if you
through
did that
that,
on like a Monday.
yeah, right. When I don't have time for it. But the yeah, I think the thing that came out of it is I was expecting Amir to be like, it is what it is or something. But the reality is he heavy backtracked on the statement. So I think whatever screenshot got shared around was in the context of whatever the other conversation was. I never went and looked. But Nova Labs continues to staff engineers to support the HPR and Oracle infrastructure. There's about 5 people. All in. There's server costs, everything like that. That is continuing. That's not changing. And he's been direct about that in the Foundation channel and some other places now. The thing that he doesn't want to sign up for is people pushing hips and expecting Nova to go iterate and build those things. So it's like, oh, let's change proof of coverage again. Well, it's like, why? Proof of coverage is working. Like, is it worth, a week of engineering time to go change proof of coverage again? Like, to what outcome does that serve the network? And to that point, I can actually stand behind him on that. Like, to me, the network exists. People are keeping their hotspots on. We just need users to come onto the network, and that's not something that is Nova Labs' responsibility. They've built the thing; it's out there, it works.
Right.
So, like, as a community, as Foundation, like, let's make sure that we're doing our very, very best to enable those builders to come and like deploy.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to for me. But it's not going anywhere. Like, and the people who are posting those screenshots are doing more damage to the IoT network than anyone who's trying to like actually move something forward. Because it's those screenshots that get seen by the CEOs and everyone else. I had a call with somebody yesterday, and they thought I was calling them to tell them that the IoT network was getting shut down. Like, and so like that's what people see.
Yeah, I mean, fucking fair enough.
Right?
Like, I laugh at that because I don't think that it's going to get shut down at all. But I can see other common message out there is like, oh yeah, they're going to hatchet this thing or whatever it was that he said.
Yeah, I mean, the sooner we can get the community to realize that that's the case and support Nova Labs instead of battling them on all this stuff, just clear your mind of it, focus on building, focus on deploying, and we'll all be better for it. Like right now, the tone from, certain people in the community makes it actually harder to grow usage. So.
Yep. I could see that as being pretty fair. I mean,
I don't know, hot takes,
like, fuck
right?
it. I'm going to be building like IoT stuff. I want to do this thing with the measuring sound levels in the shop at PT, and then build some custom hardware to do some stuff for all shops. Because I think I saw, what is this thing called? Oh, it's called the Waffle. WAFFLE. Like, someone look up Waffle and radar, you'll find it. But they put this device in a meeting room. I heard a podcast on it on Jason Calacanis's podcast the other day. The guy had come on. I think he'd invested in him. But the device goes in a meeting room, and now you can see how many people are in the meeting room. And apparently, like, I'm not a part of this culture at all, but in looks like bigger Silicon Valley culture, there's some problem with always like someone else being in your meeting room. Seems to be like not just a first world problem, but like a 2% first world problem or 1% first world problem. And so what they're saying is, by putting this device in there, you can measure if there's 1, 2, 3 or more people in a room, and know if the room is taken, and what you might be able to turn off for HVAC, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, it's just radar stuff. Like, it's not that, no disrespect to the Waffle folks, because I'm sure it is pretty difficult to do, but like, I'm pretty sure I could do something like that in general, to count how many people are in a room, and then to see what the noise level is. I think we talked about this in the last show about putting like a device in every retail shop. What's that?
No ninjas counted.
No ninja. Yeah, it doesn't count ninjas. So I mean, clearly.
Yeah. I like the concept though. Like, and that feels like something that like an LLM or even like some on-edge AI would be capable of, saying like, if it kind of looks like this is what three people in a room sounds like. And
yeah. I missed some of the chat here. So I actually wanted to hit this piece. It's hard to read because it's so small, and I don't have a great way to do this, but some people aren't happy with the speed of IoT hips going through, getting to discussion, getting a channel and to vote and acclaim. So I think I'd heard on this one, and I'll comment on it first, that it did seem like it went through pretty fast. And my view, because I'm not as close to Helium as I once was, is that in general, Helium is kind of run by the community, but occasionally the folks who hold a shitload of voting power will see that there's something that needs to be done, and they'll just do it. And it does seem like it's getting ramrodded through, because that's what's fucking happening. Maybe I'm wrong on that, Joey, but that certainly seems that's what it looks like to me, as kind of more of an outsider now. Do you think that's true, untrue?
I think there's a lot of layers to this. Like, I've been getting mixed messaging on this topic. Like, the IoT working group that I work with, right, has been mad that we haven't been doing stuff fast enough. And so then, like,
it's too fast.
Like, where do you sit on some of those things? And they're, the same people are mad that this thing was fast. So there's challenges there. On the other hand, like, the Helium Foundation is the sort of arbiter of what goes, right? Like, there's a legal and like fiscal responsibility to the foundation to make sure that when stuff does get rolled out, that it isn't going to break, federal, because we're a U.S. entity, right? Like, we have to play by those rules. We need lawyers to look at this stuff. And so when things come in from the community, it does have to go through that process. The engineers have to get on board. There has to be a sort of mutual understanding there. And a lot of those things are just faster when internal folks are working on it. So I was a co-author on HIP 138. Chris Farabee was in Singapore. When we were in Singapore, we got to sit down and talk about it. So there was like sort of a shared understanding there. It was something where like I was able to say like, yeah, you've taken this thing that was in my Helium v3 proposal, effectively broken it out, and this is something that I can kind of like get behind as a co-author. And so like that's kind of the fuzzy nature of a lot of these things. Like, this one was faster because there was like more immediate buy-in. All that said, like, all of this happened in public. The channel was open, people are having the discussion in there, the iterations, all that kind of stuff was in that public channel. But yeah, like, I think Teague's quote there that you threw up is a good one. Like, if community wants to come in with proposals with code, like, that can also be a fast process. And I'm talking to some folks about you know, there's a bunch of code contributions that we need to various pieces of the IoT infrastructure. I've been sort of hot on this idea of a multi-tenant version of Gateway RS for a long time. I think I've found somebody that can build that. They're going to go write the code, write some PRs. I'm going to force Mad Ninja to merge it. Like, it's kind of the, different nature of it. So like that stuff can happen externally and then like get pushed in. But it still needs all the legal sign off and stuff. Like if somebody goes and like pushes some code that says it, emit 10x the number of tokens and burn all this other stuff. Well, now it looks like you're trying to manipulate the market. Like that's not going to be good.
Yeah. I've been, this is funny. This goose fella or lady, whatever it is. Our Bobcat miner's still working on the IoT side. Pretty sure they are, but I'm pretty sure Bobcat's gone.
Bobcat's a weird one. They're still around. We see some emails like, I think I saw one that was like, hey, why'd you guys take us off the website? And it's like, well, a little story for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've seen.
Right. So I try to stay out of the manufacturer relationship stuff a bit, but fortunately the thing that they did is they designed their firmware to just reach out to GitHub and pull latest releases. So they kind of just do what they're supposed to. Yeah. So as long as it's working, as long as you can get internet to it, it should sort of phone home to the right place. All that said, like Foundation's been working on a grant to work with a party that wants to build firmware and sort of get new stuff pushed into that. And so that should be a means for us to sort of see long-term life on that hardware. But, a lot of gotchas in between here and there. So we'll sort of make sure that keeps tracking.
Yeah, I think Travis is coming here. So I'm getting and this is a reference to a movie for those of us who haven't seen it, where they're like, hey, where's this Spartacus guy? And they're going through the Romans and trying to kill this one dude. And he's hiding in the crowd, and everybody in the crowd starts saying, I'm Spartacus, so they can't find him. So that's like the thing where all these people are popping their hands up and saying, here's this confusion piece.
I go to I'm Robert Paulson, but that's my reference.
Good one, Joey.
Yeah.
So I got an email the other day from this guy who had asked me, he's like, hey, I haven't paid attention to Helium for 2 years. I wanted to, like, since before the Solana transition, I want to move my miner from one wallet to another. I don't have my 12 words, but I have access to my old wallet. And I think we're going to see a ton of this, and there'll be all these different like weird scenarios where they do have their 12 words, or actually all these weird scenarios where they don't have their 12 words. Mm-hmm. And for as much as I think the messaging has been super clear, like don't fucking lose your 12 words. Yeah. They're gone. And people are going to be pissed about this. And I think there's probably a great scam to be had by saying, I can help you recover your 12 words. If someone, people are doing that a ton. But also like a pretty big obligation that companies don't and won't want to take on, but saying like, look, if you don't have your 12 words, you are fucked. Like that's it. There's nothing anyone can do. Yeah. And I think we're going to see a bunch of this as token prices go up, as Bitcoin breaks 100,000 and people kind of remember they had some crypto and they're like, oh, do I have a pizza's worth of Bitcoin? Let me go check. Right. And I can see it, but I actually can't access it, and they're going to be pissed.
Yeah. I think the community managers and moderators can probably speak to seeing at least one of those a week, which is, it's painful every time it happens. And like, that's a lot of the design of the Helium wallet app was like, write these down. We're not going to let you see your tokens until you write them down. Like, here's all your words. We'll go write them down. Like, it's actually really annoying to set up a wallet because of all that stuff that we force, but it's what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I think there's some really cool stuff happening. And like you mentioned, DIMO redesign, like they're doing passkey based login with email recovery, which from a blockchain standpoint scares me a little bit, but from a user experience standpoint is really exciting.
Way nicer,
because it simplifies it. If folks haven't played around with Fuse Wallet, it's another really like just super smooth experience on Solana. Same thing, using passkey. They sort of do a multi-sig of your keys. So there is really cool stuff that you can start to do. This, revamp of the Helium wallet app is going to bring in like email login, but that's going to be through Magic, which I don't love. You're kind of giving somebody else your keys and entrusting them in that way. So I think it'd be interesting to see if we can start moving more into this passkey world and just trust that people can keep that one password safe. And trust Apple, trust Google to make sure that they're keeping you safe.
It's so crazy because we all kind of rail against like, oh, these goddamn big corporations. And it turns out that big corporations are really good at doing like really useful things.
Sure.
And that's part of the reason they got so big.
Yep.
So let's see.
There's always improvements. It's crypto UX.
Yeah. I haven't seen Smiley Girl before. This seems to me like you're going to push some DePIN IDs in whatever your project is, but maybe I just know you and I don't know your username. So
we got a bunch of people. There's 180 people in here right now.
Yeah.
According to
EWN might guess your 12 words eventually. I'm sure, Rob, you're fucking around, but this is something that Greyhat has talked about, and now we're going in like total hand-waving bullshit land, but at some point when quantum computing magically pops up, you're fucked. Like there's no amount of words that are going to keep your shit safe.
Yeah.
It's like, but in the meantime, cash out your crypto, buy a house, get it on paper that you own it, and then you're done.
I think when that happens, you want gold bars because, like, are the credit cards safe? Is your mortgage safe? Like, it's kind of everything.
Yeah. Nothing is safe.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, anything else going on in IoT land? You do any kind of nerdy projects that we should cover before we wrap this sucker up?
I think I might have mentioned this last week, but I published the code for my sauna sensor, the isthesaunahot.com.
Wait, what is it? Oh, the sauna hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I took the light upstairs, but I finally got in there, pulled out the like statically, placed keys and all that kind of stuff, so I could publish it. It is not the cleanest code, but it's because I wrote almost none of the code, which was kind of the cool thing. So this is like me hopping into ChatGPT, being like, write a Cloudflare worker that does X, Y, and Z, and then just chatting with the thing. Getting in there, poking at things here and there. But I'm kind of eager to write a tutorial around this. I went and did a bunch of feature creep. I added downlink capabilities. I added extra devices. It detects whether it's daytime or nighttime based on the hotspot location. Like there's cool things that I just kind of like nerded out on. But I want to do like a simplified version of this and just say like, you've got a sensor, you've got some data. Like, what are you trying to do with it? Like, do you want to go push that to you could do a little dial on your desk. You could do a dashboard that just shows a single number, whatever. And it's free, which is the cool thing. Like Cloudflare has an incredibly generous free tier. So it's like very accessible just to jump in and try things out.
Oh, and Rob wants you to put in Celsius.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
No. Come on, Rob. It's America. There's only one country in the world that matters. It's America, and we use free units.
That's going on the backlog way at the bottom. Yeah. But anyway, I encourage folks to check that out because it's kind of.
Do you have a link to it, or it's
I don't know if can I share you links in here.
You can share a link to me, or you can whatever I'll figure it out. Let's see. mRouter. Amir posted a LilyGo device for Meshtastic and suggested potential for IoT token. Any thoughts on IoT subject notwithstanding the LoRa v LoRaWAN differences? I'm not sure I understand that, mRoute.
Yeah, there's are we talking? I don't know. Maybe Teague will have an idea on that. I don't know if he's talking about like tokenizing Meshtastic or just using the device on IoT. I'm not sure. I think
what I've seen before is people come in and they see Meshtastic and they're like, oh, it's LoRa, and that's close enough to LoRaWAN. And they also want, let me see if I can make this big enough to cover up the overview. Kevin is just like shaking his head like, dude, you do not know how to do graphics at all. Like, get your shit together.
I was on a call with him the other day. He's got a very nice office.
Oh, yeah.
He's a styling guy.
He's got a cool backstory. I remember when he first came into the Gristle crew and we were talking about what he'd done in Helium. I was like, holy shit, this guy's a killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with this Meshtastic thing in Helium, the idea is that when people first come into Helium, they're like, oh, cool, it's a way for me to communicate with my friends. And you say, or they say it's a, what is the thing? It's a mesh network. And you're like, no, not really. But they really want it to be a mesh network. So now they're saying Meshtastic, and Meshtastic is LoRa. And so they're like, okay, cool, I want Meshtastic to be on Helium. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to Germ a while ago about making it so your Helium hotspot could also be a Meshtastic whatever access point or whatever they're called. But he was saying that it would take, Germ has the right word. It's some fucking radio term, multiplexing, I think.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to deal with it. So they're just like, fuck it.
Yeah. It's part of, you got to, those concentrators are kind of designed for like a very particular job. So you got to make trade-offs once you start doing things outside of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
The new Lily goes. Anyway, I dropped the link into our guest chat.
Oh, in our guest chat. Okay, there it is. GitHub, J Hiller, standby. I'll drop that into, I'll just drop that into the chat.
There you go.
And then I will add that to the broadcast. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Take a look. It's
JT Hiller. Is there what's the T for? Is that Thomas? Terrible?
It is.
Yeah.
Terrible. Depending on the day and depending on the community.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Rob's got some nerdy geek tech question. Why don't you use SMS over LoRaWAN on Helium and then use some router to change route messages to Meshtastic? MQTT bridge also. I think, Rob, wasn't there something about shipping something with code? Like when you make a bit?
Right.
This is weird.
I mean, like, this is kind of the like we keep having these little conversations about like LoRaWAN communicators. I think there's definitely something there. I think people would have a lot of fun with it. And the desire for a lot of these Meshtastic folks is to have some, interface that they can go and use just to like send an emergency message or something.
Yeah.
So there's cool things to like start playing around with there.
You can always count on Rob to tell you exactly what's on his mind.
Yeah.
So
appreciate it.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I really want you to do this thing, but I don't have time to do it, but I really want you to do it. I would really like it, Joe, if you just dropped everything and made this Meshtastic like multiplex node, whatever the fuck it is, work.
Yeah, that is also not going to happen. So Rob's 0 for 2 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think on my local network, I've seen that there's some problems with MQTT stuff where, I don't know, nodes were sending like 1 million extra messages. So, yeah, it's like, I think it's a fun thing to play around with, but separate enough from Helium that probably nothing's going to happen. And in fact, I guarantee nothing's going to happen until someone submits something with code.
Yeah. Low appetite to go like tear up the floorboards, given the sort of state of things. But,
Fair.
Yeah.
If 138 passes, do you know how soon we'll go back to HNT? Sorry to make a giant shift there.
I do, but I don't remember it. It's in the HIP.
Start of the year?
It's like January 8th or some. I can't quite remember exactly the date that they put in there.
Okay.
But there is some protocol work that would need to be done. It would need to be audited. So like people that are staking HNT to VE HNT and are getting delegate rewards, like those delegate rewards have to switch over. You need a way to claim them. Like there's little details like that I think just need to be hammered out.
Oh, the 15th of January. Okay. Small little things. And I got a question. Like people are watching my old Solana videos from 1.5 years ago and saying like, hey, cool, how much money or how much HNT will I make if I stake whatever, or what are like delegate rewards? But
yeah, I think that's another thing that I'd be curious to see more transparent is like how much, give me an estimate based on today's rate, like whatever. I don't know. That's like a calculator we could throw into Docs or something pretty easily.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be super cool.
Yeah.
See that stuff figured out. All right. Well, I think we can probably wrap it here. Anything else that you have? I'm going to go back and work on my my little website spam project, which I'm having a ton of fun with.
Yeah, show me what you got. I'm curious to see.
I'll have to send it to you because it's been super funny for me to do, but I also got to make sure I don't send it to too many people because I actually do want it to work and I want it to appear like it's a real website. And if it's everyone's out there like, oh, this is the website that guy told me about, that's total bullshit. It's not going to work the way I want it to.
Yep. All right. Well, I can wait if I'm needed to wait. But,
cool.
Yeah.
All right, Doug. I will see you. I think next week is probably the Helium community call. I didn't see much going on in the message.
The day before Thanksgiving, so I don't think we have a community call.
Okay.
So if we want to, we do have a community call. Look at that. Okay. So yeah, cool. I think we're off for next week then.
Shit, yeah, I'll take the day off. It ain't gonna hurt. All right, killers. Thanks for watching. 186. Jesus F. Christmas. That's a good one.
That's good. Yeah. Keep an eye out for those Black Friday things. There's good time to buy 3D printer filament, all sorts of stuff like that. So
I think I'm in the market for a Synology NAS, and I'm sure all of my tech nerds watching this like, Synology's bullshit. You can build the same thing yourself with duct tape for like $5. I'm like, dude, I want the thing to arrive on my door. I plug it into the fucking wall, plug it into my router, and it works. I don't have time to learn how to do NASs.
I'm 100% the same way. I don't have time for all that other stuff.
So. There is so much shit that I got to get good at. I don't have time to get good at everything. So, cool. All right, buddy. Good to see you, Joey. I'll see you in 2 weeks. All right.
Sounds good. Later.